Yeah. Can you believe it? Another Thirsty Thursday. The new co-host is working out just fine. I couldn't be more proud of her. You know? Okay, fam, you got your cans? Let's do this. First, we skim the top. Next week, we're going to have the co-host get in on this action. But baby steps. Okay, skim the top. Then we get the gutter. Then we blow. Yes, sir. Now we open. Ah. Got a little bit, with all this weather and everything, I got some dry skin on my fingers. All right, let's pour. Let's pour. And when we see the bubbles, what do? We close our eyes and dream. Oh, yeah. It is my birthday soon. Aha. All right, let's fill the rest of the way up. Well, as much as we can. Oh, she's a foamy one, fam. Look at the head on that can. Let's take a sip. Okay, not bad, not bad. Not bad. I don't know if we will repeat just ingredients. Ha! Yeah. All right. Sit back, relax, grab your beverage, sip, listen. We got a good one today. Clinton Foshee. He had a pretty remarkable experience taking a plant medicine journey, particularly when it comes to healing his brain and a lot of past traumas. Him and Allie really connected the weekend of Power Slap 19. Anyway, they had a great conversation, and we thought, well, let's have him on the podcast, go a little bit deeper, get to know him a bit more. Everybody, give it up. Clinton Foshee.
Here's to Thirsty Thursdays.
Hey, what's good, fam? Thirsty Thursday is upon us once again. And before we get to our special guest in the building, it is official. You see this? This is 2 weeks in a row. Our co-host is real. She exists. Talk about clickbait, fam. Ooh. So, we have a special guest in the building, as the Breakfast Club would say. Over Power Slap 19 that weekend, so this last weekend, we were out on the balcony just chilling, hanging out with some friends. So we were able to meet up with Clinton, and I'll let these guys do the talking, but I want to set the stage, fam. So some of you may know Allie had a very good experience going on a plant medicine journey. And speaking with Clinton and hanging out, it turns out he has similar experience as far as being able to feel a lot of emotional things, a lot of good ties, but especially a lot of physical and emotional healing. And they were just going at it. Allie and Clinton were just going at it, going down the rabbit hole. And we thought, you know what? This would be a fantastic episode to put out into the world because regulations, people being more open-minded about not just shoving pills down our bodies, but maybe something that's more natural, something that actually comes from the earth that's been around for thousands of years. And because of that, we just felt like this would be a great conversation. So, Clinton, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself and we'll start the conversation going.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I am Clinton Foshee. I'm originally, if the accent doesn't scream it, I am from Montgomery, Alabama. I now reside in Southern California. I've been out here about 10 years. And kind of like you said, I went probably about a year or so ago, started a plant-based journey and a healing process. And that's where I'm kind of at. It was an amazing conversation to connect and kind of when you open up the door, because it's like such a sensitive subject, like you said, because it's so taboo. And like, so I sat back. I don't know if y'all noticed, but I sat over in the corner for a while and I kind of was picking up the vibes and the energy. And then I was like,
What's that?
exactly. And then I was like, so while we're talking about it, so it was a good conversation to have, no doubt. And it's always good to have like-minded people that kind of are down that same path of healing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, Allie, if you just kind of let the audience know, people that might be watching or listening, just, minute, 2 minute of your experience. And then, Clinton, you do the same. And then we'll just
Yeah.
kind of really just dive in as far as like what the actual experiences were, the
Mhm.
things that were relatable, things that were the same, maybe some things that were different. And then, on a selfish level, I definitely want to have Clinton speak to some of the issues he had going on, emotionally and mentally, particularly, stay tuned for this, fam, the dementia side of things,
Mhm.
because my dad had onset dementia, Lewy body dementia. My grandma had it as well. So I'm very interested to hear Clinton's side when we get into those details. But yeah, Ali, start us off. What got you interested in it? Why you were going that? Like what pushed you to try it? And then the results of that.
Yeah. So, and I just, I love talking about this. So when I met Clinton, I was just like, wait, I need to be best friends with you. We just so connected, but it's so cool. It's so cool. But so my experience was it was a really positive experience. So I went and did a plant. I've done a couple plant medicine journeys. I've done three, but I did one really large one. And it does sound really taboo. But I went in with an intention, and I always say I used to have really very severe narcolepsy. So, and then those that don't know what narcolepsy is, basically it's that you just can't stay awake. You just always are falling asleep. So I got to the point where I stopped driving. Um I could probably drive maybe like 10 minutes, but not anything
If
more,
that.
if that.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the movie Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo, there's a scene where a lady has narcolepsy and she's bowling, and the slapstick is she falls asleep holding the ball and goes down the bowling lane. I promise you, if a bowling ball was super glued to this lady's hand, that would happen.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So I was on a lot of stimulants, I was on a lot of medication, and I still just had such a hard time. The diagnosis itself kind of messed a little bit more with my psyche, and it really made me pretty depressed because I was reliant on so many stimulants now, and because I was aware of what my health was doing, it just made me like I just felt like I don't want to be in this body anymore. Like I just felt more depressed that this was my reality, and I always try to be positive and like go through things, but if I was being real with myself, that's like kind of what brought me to go to plant medicine journeys, is because I had heard that like different plant medicines can help with different like mental health type of things. And so for me, it just really made me depressed that this was my body and my reality. And so I was like, I want to go and do plant medicine so I can accept my diagnosis. So I went into it to accept what was going on with my body so that I could live a life and I could live it like happy and be okay. It just like with acceptance, because I was obviously very deep down, very sad about my reality. I couldn't drive, I couldn't watch TV, couldn't watch movies. I think that's why I like to work so much, because I'm standing up and I'm go, go, go,
Constantly stimulated.
constantly stimulated.
Yeah.
No, but everything else was just hard. Going to dinner was so hard. Trying to sit and have a conversation while sitting down, I wanted to just die. It just was so painful. And narcolepsy kind of feels like if you haven't slept for like 48 to 72 hours. But like that's like a way that people will torture people is like by keeping them awake so long. So I'm like, it made me sick. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I just was like, I wanted to accept this, that this was my reality because there's no cure, blah, blah, blah. So I go and do plant medicine, and inside of my large medicine journey, uh, I just realized that for me, narcolepsy is I've just mastered disassociation since I was a child. Like I just mastered that. Like I just didn't, if there was something that stressed me out, if there was something that I didn't like, if there was something that just made me like upset, how I would cope with that is I would disassociate by sleeping. I would just fall asleep. And it's funny because once that became like when I recognized that, and like I got back from my medicine journey, I even saw myself sometimes like when something was really stressful, I noticed I would like go to bed thinking like, oh, I need to sleep. And I was like, no, you have to change these patterns and these habits and these behaviors. But I like that was a big thing for me was I realized, no, I was just like disassociating and I became such a master at that. That this health condition is very real. It's obviously it's very real, shows up on your brain scans.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's what it was for me. And so it sounds silly. I did all this breath work and I worked for like 3 hours of like getting the narcolepsy out of my body. And I was like, just kept telling my body, like, you're safe and you're okay and you're strong enough that you don't need narcolepsy anymore. And it was the most incredible thing. And then when I got back, I well, when I was there, because I went and did it at a retreat, there was a doctor there, and I had asked her, like, "Could this be real? Could I really be healed?" And she's like, "We've seen people that were paralyzed come and do a plant medicine journey, and they've walked. Like, this can be real."
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, People have been paralyzed, they've done the journeys with us, and they've walked right after." And so that also I was like, okay. And then when I got back, I just did certain things each day to remind myself. Like I wrote all this stuff on my mirror. I literally just
Yeah.
recently
Graffiti the
I
mirror.
graffiti.
I'm okay. Success, discipline,
No,
hearts.
I
Like,
just like there's certain things I told myself in my plant medicine journey like multiple times. And those are called my truth cards. And I put those on my mirror and I just like every single day for the past, it's been a
over a
year.
year.
Yeah, over a year. I just repeated that to myself and almost like just rewired myself that way. And I've been totally fine since. Like I can drive, I can watch movies, I can watch all these shows. So all these times people ask me, have you ever seen this movie? And I'm like, no, because I didn't watch movies for years. But now I'm like, I'm watching movies.
You know all the shows now.
I'm a couch. I'm a real American.
I'm a real American. So that's kind of my experience with it in a nutshell. And it was just the most incredible thing, most life-changing thing for my health. And just also not only my health, but my way of thinking
Mm.
of why certain things happen too. Of like, oh yeah, if I disassociated so much that then it made me I got like this health condition. Like and just how also powerful your mind is too.
Mm.
It's so crazy how your body subconsciously will create like what it thinks is healthy things for you to divert from dealing with the actual root problem is. It's like trying to protect by giving you narcolepsy or depression or these other things because it doesn't really want you to go down that rabbit hole. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very real. It's like, I mean, it's the same, but it isn't. You know, when a fighter gets hit so many times, it's knocked out so many times, his body actually allows him to get knocked out even easier because that's how it shuts him down to protect him to not get any brain damage. So, yeah, that's crazy. Your body just, at the end of the day, it's fight or flight, and your body will always fight for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But exterior wise, it looks like it's a flight mode, but it isn't. It's fighting for you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Man. Well, Clinton, tell us, how'd you even hear about such a thing? How did you even think to even, oh, I'm gonna give it a try? Like it's kind of out there, even though it's more
It is very much out there, especially for a guy from Alabama. I grew up with a lot of trauma. I was sexually assaulted as a kid that I found out later through EMDR. I grew up in a very violent, abusive household. So I had severe PTSD kind of most of my life. Didn't get diagnosed till a little bit later. Um, I did some amateur MMA and MMA training back 10, 15 years ago. I grew up playing football, so had my bell rung several times. I trained with a lot of very elite MMA guys that went on to fight in the UFC. And so I've had my bell rung, but I had never been knocked out. And about 5 years ago, I had a car wreck, driving 25 miles per hour, had my kids in the car, postman pulled out. I swerved, hit my head off the glass. Uh, knocked me out. I didn't know it at the time because I came to and my kids were yelling. And so, like, dad mode kicked in. But shortly after that, I had started having severe concussion symptoms of woke up in the floor, passed out, didn't know how I got there,
Wow.
um, and having severe headaches. My cognitive function started to quickly kind of erode, to the point of where I was driving my daughter to school one day and she was like, Dad, I don't think this is the way to my school. And I was 45 minutes up the 5 freeway. Like my brain, I call it glitching out, but my brain literally, I would be in this conversation and I would forget what we were talking about. And because like I was in so much trauma or whatever, I could adapt and quickly try to divert the conversation. But with that, went and did a brain test. And the doctor said you can have X amount of concussions. You can have 100 concussions and it never does anything to you. You can have that one and it can be a thump and it could be the one that is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And that car accident for me was the straw that broke the camel's back. And so they did a functional MRI that showed I had I say dead, but lack of blood flow in the front left of my brain, which is the side that hit off of the glass. And a lot of people don't know dementia, Alzheimer's, basically what it is where your brain isn't getting proper blood flow in certain areas. And what happens is that tissue or that portion of your brain starts dying away. It's like a trophy, like if you get a muscle knot, the bottom part of your arm, the muscle will stop getting blood flowing. So it starts shrinking or whatever.
It's like
And
food, if you will.
exactly. And so this went on over a couple of years and it was embarrassing because like, I'm in a service industry. I do real estate as my primary job. So I couldn't tell people that I was forgetting things. I couldn't tell, but I started forgetting meetings, I couldn't train jujitsu anymore, which I was like literally fixing to get my black belt like the next month. Um, and so I literally lost everything, probably 50 to 100,000 negative in the hole, lost everything, to the point of where there was a portion of time I lost my car and nobody knew it. I was taking the bus and nobody knew it. It got so bad that for a portion of time I was donating plasma to be able to pay child support for my kids. And nobody knew because I was so embarrassed because I had always been deemed as successful or a fighter. And it was very important for me not to show weakness because I grew up in like a prison household. So like showing weakness was like horrible for me. And so I literally lost everything. And I had seen Ian McCall and Mark the Shark Irwin. Mark the Shark Irwin's a world champion bare knuckle fighter. Ian McCall is, of course, from the UFC. And they had an yeah, yeah. They had an organization called Athlete's Journey Home. And so I kind of watched it and I had known Mark. I had never met Ian. I knew Mark. Um, from physical therapy. And I saw where they had always posted on there about shroom psilocybin, LSD, different psychedelics, and how they were healing the brain and how people were healing trauma and whatever. And I was closed-minded, right? So I was like, what in the Caucasian stuff is this? I'm from the hood in Montgomery, Alabama. And so I was like, no.
What kind of
But I had
voodoo
lost
bullshit is
everything.
this, man?
Yeah, I had lost everything and I was desperate. And so I'll never forget, I met Mark in Huntington Beach at a restaurant. And we're at a restaurant, it's a busy restaurant. And he sat down, I sat down, and I was like, hey man, how's it going? And he was like, he's like, "Man, how are you? Are you okay?" And I think he could see, and dude, I just cried. Like, I just started crying, and I was like, "Man, I need help. I'm waking up." I mean, it got so bad, I was waking up, and I wouldn't know where I was. I would have to set my alarm, my morning alarm. It would say, and I still have it on my phone. I never changed it because I wanted to be a reminder. But it said, "You're at home and you're safe," because I would wake up some days and I wouldn't know where I was. And so it was bad. They said I had early from the scan, they said I had early onset Alzheimer's and dementia. The doctor actually said that if I didn't get intensive brain therapy, cognitive retraining, that within 10 years I would be in a home. So it was
Was it
pretty
just
bad.
straight up fear or
Oh yeah,
confusion when you got those answers?
yeah, well, it was twofold. It was like, "Okay, I told you so," because I was telling people, like, my brain wasn't right, and when they saw the accident, it wasn't a major accident, right? And they're like, "Dude, you used to get punched in the face by UFC guys. Like, you mean to tell me this hurts you?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm telling you, I'm waking my brain isn't right. Something's not right." Um and so, but on the flip side of that, pure fear, because I have 5 children, right? And um, for me, I didn't have a good father. So for me, it's very important for me to be a good father to my kids. And the last thing I would ever want would be for me to be in a home and my kids have to be taking care of me. So my biggest fear, honestly, wasn't for me. I grew up hating myself so much because of my childhood and what I was told and the things that happened to me. I never really learned to love myself, and that's something I still struggle with. But for me, it was about my kids and not making them be burdened by trying to take care of me. That was my biggest fear, to be honest.
That's real.
Um, and so Mark said, "Man, I've got you." He called Ian. We got in a group chat. They said, "Hey, we're going to put together a protocol. You're one of our first, like, major, like, people that have had, and I kind of was a unicorn because I've got PTSD and a traumatic brain injury. So, like, I tell people all the time, if you can name a trauma, I've been through it, unfortunately. And so I started using psilocybin and LSD and microdosing those. And I noticed over a month or so, my memory started snapping back where I was starting to kind of remember things and I was more comfortable with answering calls, not really freaking out as much. And so this went in on over like 6, 8 months. And it was like a ceiling though, like I would get to a place, but like I still felt uncomfortable in my own skin. And so we were doing the first ever for Athletes Journey Home, we were doing the first ever fighters retreat where they took 11 of us and we got our brains tested before, and then we did ayahuasca for 4 days, and then they tested our brains afterwards.
Whoa.
Um, yeah, before I was on 3 different medicines just to sleep. I was on a medicine to help me go to sleep. I was on a medication to, not let me have nightmares, and then I was on another one for me to be able to sleep through the night. I was on 2 different antidepressants, and I've been back from the ayahuasca retreat about 4 months, and I haven't taken one medication. Hadn't needed it, hadn't
So that's amazing.
yeah.
That's incredible. And you don't feel any, I know we joked about this on the
Yeah.
balcony, but you don't feel any more quote unquote memento type things you need to set up to remind you where you're at, or
Mhm.
this is, wow, that's amazing.
My brain is sharper now. Like I was having a conversation with my brother the other day, and we were talking about a conversation that I had with somebody, and I was so descriptive with the conversation. My brother was like, "How the hell did you even remember that?" And it was like that movie. I tell people it's like that movie Lucy. If you've ever seen the movie Lucy,
Sure.
where
Yeah.
they start talking about you start opening other avenue, more percentages of your brain. And I feel like the psychedelics and the ayahuasca. Shout out to Lawara is the ayahuasca retreat I went to in Medellin, Colombia. But they did an amazing job, and it completely rewired, redid my brain. I, for the first time in 48 years, feel comfortable in my skin. Number one, so I'm emotionally, physically, and mentally sharper now than probably I ever was in my life.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say is, like, your health condition, that helped so much, but also, like, your emotional and your trauma. Do you feel like emotionally that changed a lot too? To,
I
like, just
feel like I feel like everything is hand in hand. So it's kind of like what you said with narcolepsy, right? That's a health condition that because your body was trying to help you, created that for you, right? So it starts making you think about all of these diseases that we have and what these are. I know for me, when I did ayahuasca, I had C5, C6 fusion, neck fusion. Before I left, I went to the doctor. They said I needed to have the disc above uh, done, the disc below done, and my L5S1 in my low back. They all said those needed surgery.
Holy
I
cow.
got back and I haven't had 1 acre pain. It's because your body, when you have traumas that are unprocessed or unhealed, if you start like really being conscious with yourself, think about when you get mad or when you feel uncomfortable or something happens that you don't want to deal with. Next time it happens, watch your body and see where you get tense. See where you hold on to that. And that's what your body does. Your body stores up these things within your body.
Well, no, I think that's real. I think first, oh wait, back up. That's crazy, doc. So you went there, it's been 4 months. We don't feel any reverse, if you will, happening. It's just we're going forward. So your outlook on life has to be the brightest it's ever been.
It 100%. And now don't get me wrong, when I got back, I had to have a lot of integration coaching, which I'm in school now with being true to you. For my own personal, I'm going to become an integration coach. So integration is so important because when you go, it's like an epiphany, right? And now you're seeing the world for what it really is, as opposed to these sunglasses that you were wearing constantly. Or I tell my brother this is what I told him. It's like if you've ever had goggles on in the pool and a little bit of water gets in there and you can still see, but it's cloudy and you can't really tell, but you know the wall is a certain distance. That's how I was seeing life. So once you clear those goggles and you see the world for what it is now, it's difficult
Yeah,
because
I agree.
yeah, because now you start seeing people and things for what they are. Because I can tell, like with her, it's gonna be one of those things like we've been told, oh, you're overly emotional. Oh, you're just making that up in your head. Oh, these things, right? And that teaches you not to have a voice or not to, and it makes you almost question yourself. When you know something is a red flag, you'll almost trick yourself into being like, it's orange. Believe me, I've been divorced twice. Like, it just is what it is. So you have to have integration so that you can incorporate when you get back, because the traumas don't go away, right?
Right.
It allows you to see clearly, but you're still going to have ebbs and flows throughout life. And just because you healed one thing, there's layers on top, because you almost create these. You heal one thing, but you have 8 different things that came from that that need to be healed. So like almost like you create like narcolepsy. For me, my coping mechanism, like I never was into drugs and alcohol. I was a whore, right? And I was trying to fulfill a
Nice.
mommy. Yeah, I was trying to fulfill a mommy wound within all of these women. And then because I was sexually assaulted at such a young age, I was taught to over sexualize myself, right? So I felt like my only self worth or value, or the only thing that I could give that would get people to love me, would be sexuality, right? So I was hypersexual with any and everything.
And it doesn't help that your body feels validated over and over and over as well, because it feels good.
Exactly. Well, it feels good in that instance, but then you see broken people find broken people, right? And so, I, I got married twice. I knew my first wife for 30 days and got married. My second wife I knew for 2 weeks, and we went and got married. So
Yeah.
like that, but that was because I can't blame that on them. That was because I had created this toxic person that was trying to protect me, but really it just had me on this hamster wheel of devastation to myself
Yeah.
and to other people, just to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it totally sucks too, right? Because you really only learn that when it's too late. So then you just have to try and do your best going forward. But the real skill is realizing you might be repeating a certain habit,
Mhm.
and it's so hard to break those. But with both of your journeys, it sounds like, man, what a way, if you're willing to try that, to potentially help you not repeat those things
Yeah.
and not hang on to those things that are crippling you.
Yeah, and I would also say when it comes to, like, the integration, it's like Clinton and I both have success stories, but I feel like we have success stories because what we did afterwards.
Mm.
Because as he was saying, what I always said is when I got back, it was the wild, wild west in my body, in my brain.
Yes.
It was the wild, wild west. Because how you were like, oh, now you have a different lens. I'm like, I have a different lens on things, and there's certain things that I just am not and still, like, I have so many layers that I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna be ready for this, but not quite yet. Let me finish processing this." But it's as you that's why I always said, I'm like, it's the wild, wild west, because now that you have a different lens of something, like, when I was in my journey, it was like I was like, "Okay, I was disassociating. What was I disassociating from?" And it was not right now, not today. That's for another journey, another day. And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to the future." Boom, move. Because it's like, but it's like when you come home, then it's just like, wait, that yeah, you just have a different lens where it's almost like you have to do so much daily work and integrational work, which I love that you're going to school for. Because again, like how I even got like all of the things I would tell myself and stuff is from my integration coach when I got back. Was meeting with her and having her tell me like, okay, let's do this, or let's do this, or things that I was like, oh, like when I got home, I was just, I mean, the day I got home was not, I was a wreck. I, I was,
That's literally a whole nother podcast.
I was
When Allie, when Allie
Part
left,
two, part two.
yeah. Well,
Jerry,
yeah,
Jerry.
this digest version. So when
Yeah,
we left, we had to move.
yeah,
So
and I
we did all that, but because of the whole experience, stress, coming back into it, and not really, did you meet with your coach by then?
I did, like, later that afternoon. So, essentially what happened was, like, we were moving and we and I, like, do anything. So, literally, Joe dropped me off at the airport. He met the movers. They packed up our entire house. They moved us. And then when I came home to a new house. And we were, like, still like, they moved, like, 4 days prior, 3 days prior. So, I, like, came home to, half well, it was, like, you're moving, right? So I
Yeah.
breathed out that I was like, not everything is perfect and like, just like, this is so much chaos. And why did we move on the same weekend?
Do you feel like it was because of change and you didn't like change?
I feel like it was, oh yeah. Like I knew that I really didn't want to move. I loved where
It
were
was
living.
it was like to Allie, it was a little bit like a death,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not being able to go into that house again.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
the house that we were living in. And so, but yeah, so I felt like I was but yeah, the change and it was just too much. It's too much. And so I remember that was something that I had an integration call with her that day. And I explained to her, like, I just yelled at my husband after he did all this work, that everything wasn't put away perfectly and it's not all done and stuff. And she's like, you can get to that later. She's like, "You can get to this later." And she's like, "This is a really good opportunity for you to start doing new patterns. Like, you're so, and so squishy, or I don't know, but, like, it's, like, a great opportunity to start doing new patterns." And so she's like, "Don't worry about if things are, like, all unpacked before you have to go to work. Like, it's all good. Just let."
It has to get ugly before it gets beautiful.
Yeah. So it was
I couldn't imagine integrating, especially with your job specifically. I couldn't imagine I couldn't imagine, like because now you're seeing people and things for what they really are, and so, like, I can only imagine going into that's one of the things that I love about working independently by myself is I don't have to deal with that, but I couldn't imagine with you. So how hard was it for you integrating back into work?
feel like it was actually that was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like that was fine, and I just yeah, that was fine. I think I was maybe a little bit more quiet,
yeah,
um, and it wasn't because of anybody besides just myself. I think because I was just like, "Okay, what." I was, like, so excited for, like, feeling like, "Oh, yeah, like, my narcolepsy is gone," and, like, I have, like, really great visions of, like, where I'm gonna be in the future, and that made me really excited, and little things kept, like, things from that I'd see in my future, like, little things kept happening, like, little coincidences, and I was just like, "Wow, this is really cool." So, that was really awesome, but I think I was just a little bit more quiet and reserved only
yeah.
because of the wild, wild west aspect. Um
Reflective.
the reflective and the what was I disassociating from, but then also being scared to face what I was disassociating from, that just messed with my psyche, so I think I was just a little bit more quiet, and that
Yeah.
wasn't like me, because I remember there were, like, some people at work that were like, "Oh, you seem, like, a little bit more reserved," or this or that, and I think it was just more of, like, I'm just, like, doing my own thing all up in here.
I look, that's the when I got back, like, people would kind of low-key, they'd be like, "What's like, you're acting really," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dude, I'm just chilling."
Yeah.
I don't like, now for me, chilling is just, like, me relaxing, like, I don't feel like I have to be the jester for the office, like, I don't have to be the guy making everybody laugh, I don't have to be the guy that's doing something crazy, I don't have to be the guy that's doing all of that, like, now I'm just me.
Yeah.
So, I had to get rid of a lot of people in my life, but I also the universe, God always gives you people that are meant to be
Yeah.
there. And so I've been on a really great streak of Him guiding me towards people and gravitating towards people that have been really amazing people. So I'm truly grateful for that.
That's awesome.
I agree with that because I feel like even with me, ever since I've gotten back to now, like I have a complete 360 of like the people that are super close to me. And it's like it's literally like, oh yeah, my people are like, these are the people that need to be around. These are my
Y-
people that are
y-
here for me. And these are the people that, aren't using me or aren't like these are my true people that aren't just like in a room with me and then talking bad about me when I leave. Or
Yeah.
like I'm like, this is really cool. And what's awesome too is that that was something that one of my friends had told me was like, "Oh yeah, you came back from this journey and like you really did come back a different person." And some people, like the people that aren't meant for you, they sell themselves out. And honestly,
Yeah.
it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hard in the moment, but
hard.
good long term for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, even like now compared to then, yeah, I just feel like when you go through it, it's just so cool because it's like the people that matter are there.
Yeah, but it is, I think, Joe, you hit the nail on the head. It is hard because, like, there are people that you think or thought were your people and your ride or dies forever. Um, and they're truly not. Like, once that veil is removed and now you can see people for who and what they truly are. That's no judgment, like,
No.
to anybody. But for me, it just was like, okay, I love this person, but like the things that they find appealing used to be appealing to me, but like now it's just kind of really not. I'm at a different
Yeah.
space and place in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're both in a different space and place in life, but like on steroids, like because you can see differently. You've taken that red pill, so to speak. Because like with me, I can look back and have the same. Like I've had people try and reach out again that used to be every day in my life, text messages, this and that. And when you speak with them or talk with them, it's good to catch up, but they're still in that same spot for whatever reason, and you're like, this isn't really my jam anymore. Love
Yeah.
you, but
Yeah.
like you said, it's not a knock or anything, and you love them, but
Mhm.
it's just not for you right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or and it
For,
may never be for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, I found it like it's like a relationship. You can't really go back.
Mm.
Yeah.
For me. And that's one of the things is like when you said like once you take the red pill, it's good in a lot of ways, but also it comes with a lot of responsibility, right? Because now you have to be responsible for yourself and you can't go back to a delusional mindset, right? So like dating in this world as a 48-year-old that's like conscious, right? And like I want certain things and like, there's not a lot of people that are doing the work. And again, that's no knock on people or whatever. But when I see a red flag now, I call out a red flag. I don't make it orange and go marry 'em. I mean, I'm
Right.
just
Yeah.
saying.
No, the you that's yeah, when you see a red flag, you don't grab it anymore, you grab like a match maybe, you know?
You're like,
One, I run. Look, I run. No, I call things. I'm responsible with my words and making sure they align with what my actions are. So I do those same things when I deal with people. So like I'll give a prime example. I was dating this girl and like we weren't dating. We had met, like we were talking or whatever. And Mason, she's in school, like all these great things. So I'm checking off all the boxes. And then we get to, she's talking about her kid's father. And I'm like, well, what is his relationship to you know, and she's like, oh, he tried to kill me and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, what? I was like, this escalated quickly. And I'm
And
like, okay, well,
and then he loaded a gun.
yes. And I was like, okay, well, where does he live? Because she was like, oh, we should go out on a date. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I want to go out on a date no more. And we got your ex swooping up. So like, but the old me, honestly, would have felt sorry for her
Mm.
and would have made excuses for her words not aligning with her actions. And so I would just go with it because I wasn't holding true to my values of what it is that I wanted. I was saying I wanted these things, but I was actually going towards people pleasing still, right? And giving them an out when I need to give myself an out and
Yeah.
finding peace in that.
No, that's real. I think if people were being honest, I think the vast majority of humans would have a situation or realize they are that person. Like they disregard how they actually feel. They see the red flag and they just go, no, I need to be kinder or gentler or help them out. And what you don't know in the moment is those people will use the hell out of you to keep fixing shit. And that's a very hard thing to realize. And it's a very hard thing to step away from.
Yep.
You're so used to fixing the broken, you've never fixed yourself.
Well, I kept putting on the cape for everybody else, but I wasn't putting on the cape for myself.
Yeah.
And so at some point in time, exactly. So at some point in time, I had to learn to take care of myself. And that I do that out of love and graciousness. Like I told her, I was like, hey, I think you're an amazing person, but I just am not ready to move forward in a situation where you still have obviously unresolved things. And so I can't really move forward with it.
No, I think that's real. And honestly, I can't think of any other. I just feel like putting this out there, you guys have had such a similar experience in a positive way with it all, but you both have two different backgrounds and you're both two very different people. I think this is going to be super positive to put out there and have people maybe look into it more, research it a bit more. What would you recommend, Clinton, where people could start to maybe go down this rabbit hole?
I would highly suggest number one, don't get on Google because Google is going to give you. Everybody gets on Google and like you can go on Google and it'll say eating broccoli is great for you. And then you can go on there and eating broccoli is cancerous and it's this, and this. So I would say talk to somebody who can get you realistic information and scientific data rather than just telling you what they feel or whatever. Um, and I would not just speak to one person. I would speak to multiple people because it could be that you don't need or ayahuasca. It could be that that's not really your jam. Like I've got friends that have done ibogaine. One of the other guys in Athlete's Journey Home, a former UFC fighter, he went and did ibogaine. He had Parkinson's, full tremors and everything. Went and did ibogaine and was completely healed. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, I work with Athletes Journey Home that's run by Ian McCall, alongside, it's, us 2 and Mark the Shark Irwin as well. And there's several other people. So there's an Instagram that you can go on there. There's YouTube that you can go on there. I would just say do the research and get with somebody who's going to give you, um, walk with you rather than telling you what to do.
Mm.
Because we're all different. And like you said, we all come from different backgrounds. And so what works for me might not work for that person, and what works for that person might not work for me.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And it's called Athlete's Journey Home.
Athletes Journey Home. Yep.
Yeah, very good. Um,
And the ayahuasca retreat that I went to was Lawara, Lawayra, and it is in Medellin, Colombia. I'll actually be flying back out there July 28th and working with them. I'll be out there for 2 months. So I'll be out there July 20. Yeah. So I'll be out there July 28th through October 10th.
And I feel like too, if you're like yeah, like definitely research into this. But that's the thing is I thought about plant medicine for 2 years before I did it.
Yeah.
I do feel like you know when it's time, if that sounds right. But I know one day, I know I'm going to do an ayahuasca journey one day. Because
Anytime you wanna come, you're always welcome. We're doing our 2nd retreat with Athletes Journey Home. We're doing it, September, I think, 28th through October 7th. I'll have to confirm the dates, but we're doing that one then. This one, the first one we did as a part of a Netflix documentary. And this second one, there still will be scientific testing done as far as brain mapping and different things like that. So again, I'm big on the scientific side of it, to actually show, and that's what we're doing with the Athlete's Journey Home is we've got scientific data, that shows that we're not just saying these things, but the medicines are actually working.
see,
Yeah.
and that's what I love too, because it's like, it just shows how much like your mind, your body, your soul, like it's just also connected. But how cool and how just interesting that it's like, no, these are real brain scans. These are real medical things, but also how cool it is that these certain journeys can actually also heal those things. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And even more than that, kudos to you for actually making the choice to do that, uh, for yourself and then for your family as well, because it's hard to look in the mirror and say, "Hey, something's not right with me. I need help." It's hard to do. So kudos to you. And like, I always give people mad respect that are doing the work and healing, and breaking, generational stuff that has been passed down. And it's those things that we're passing down to our kids that are gonna, you know, keep healing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was awesome, you guys. Um, it really was. It's informative, but it was laid back. I mean, we're not, I mean, next time we can break out charts and things,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to hear your stories and everything. And, um, Clinton, where can everyone follow you on social media? Not just for this kind of thing, but you're in the real
Yeah, in
in
general.
stuff.
Yeah, you can follow me on social media at Clinton Foshee, ClintonFoshee official. And then I also have a podcast secondary to that is the Front Porch Chronicles. You can follow me at either one of those. But before we get off, also, Joe, I want to say to you, thank you for allowing us to have a safe space to have this conversation, and you for being very open minded, to listen and have a curious mind. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
So,
Thank you, man. Yeah, we're all learning every day and broadening our horizons because if you don't, what's the point? What's
y-
the point? So I thanks again for coming on, and I feel like this will do some good, you guys. I really do. I think this will do some good.
And you know this, but Clinton is my favorite person.
What?
Ever since we met, that's all I've been saying. My favorite person. My favorite.
I appreciate you both definitely. I look forward to hanging out with you guys again soon. Are y'all going next month to Power Slap?
Yep, we'll be there. Yep.
I'm coming over there, so I'll be there next month.
Okay, very
So, and
good.
I'm bringing Mark the Shark Irwin with Athlete's Journey Home. He'll be there as well.
I
So
love
Yeah,
it.
I
I
can't.
look forward to you meeting him as well.
All right. All right, everybody. Before we log off, Clinton, we always say the person looking back in you in the mirror, they're gonna be okay. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.